Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Jordan. I'm an attorney that specializes in the military defense of service members in the 5 services if you're facing a court-martial. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can expect if you're accused of a crime. So one day, you're out hanging out with your buddies, maybe you're barbecuing, having a good time, and that night you decide to go out clubbing. Just guys being guys, right? Or girls being girls, what have you, whatever the situation may be. The next morning you come to work and your first sergeant says, hey, I need you to go down to CID or OSI or NCIS, whatever service you may be in. But your first sergeant says, go down to CID, I need you to speak with the agent. And at this point you begin to panic. What do I need to speak to the agent for? And your first sergeant has no idea, and if he does, he can't tell you. So you go down to the CID office. You sit in the lobby for a little bit, and you begin to think, what is going on? Why am I here? You may have spent 2 years in the Army, you may have spent 3, 5, 10 years in the Army, and if you spent anything longer than 5 years, you've deployed at least once. You've seen things. You may have even experienced an AED blast or 2 or more. You may be being treated for PTSD. You may have any number of things that are going on in your military life, and now you're hit with this. Now you're hit with this. You have no idea why you're sitting in this lobby. Finally, the CID agent comes and he says, hey, I want to take you into this next room so we can do some in-processing or what have you. Takes you into the next room, and it's a small room. It's like ISS when you were in high school. There'll be a camera up in the corner, or maybe one sitting on the decks right next to you, and the agent just leaves you in there. He doesn't sit down right away. He's like, we'll be with you in a second, only it's not a second. The agent's gone for what seems to be a very long time, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes. He might open the door and check on you and say, hey, are you okay? Do you need some water or anything? We'll be with you in a second. At this point, you're panicking. Why am I here? What is going on? Am I accused of a crime? Am I a witness to a crime that they want to ask me questions about? I was just out last night having a good time with my friends. Why am I here? None of these questions have been answered yet because you're sitting by yourself thinking about all of this stuff. You may even get up, walk around, throw your hands up in the air, say, I've got rights. All of this is, by the way, being recorded, and you've not been talked to anybody. Nobody's talked to you. Finally, the agent comes in. Starts talking to you. He's getting his general administrative data down that he needs to get. Personal history, your job in the military, your rank, etc. And you've been panicking for a little while. And you've been wondering, what's going on? Why am I here? Finally, you're going to get some answers. At least that's what you think. The agent knows that you've been going through all of this, and so he's trying to calm you down. He asks you where you're from. I'm from Alabama. Okay. How about them Crimson Tide? Pretty good football team. Starts to get into your mind a little bit. Try to calm you down so he can start asking you the questions that he wants to ask you. Gets to know you a little bit. Talk about your family. Why'd you join the military? You know, things of that nature. Where have you been stationed? Oh yeah, I've been stationed there. Oh, I was deployed there. Yeah. And then at that point he starts saying, well, you know, I got to ask you a few questions. Before I do that, I got to read you your rights. And that's when your alarm bells need to be going off. One of two things is going to happen. One, your head's going to be filled with water. You're not going to be hearing anything that agent said except, I got to read you your rights. One of two things, you'll be thinking one of two things. One, I need to know what's going on here, so I'm going to say anything I have to say so I can understand what they're accusing me of. Or two, I ain't saying a doggone word, and that's the reaction that you need to have. That's the reaction that you want. Because you need to invoke your rights. You need to invoke your right to remain silent. You need to invoke your right to an attorney. Those are your rights, period. And that's what you should do. But in many cases, my clients don't do that. That's why they hire me and make a statement. And they say things that can be construed as a confession. It can be construed as a statement against interest. It can be construed as, well, he had some involvement in that crime, so we're going to go ahead and charge him. The best thing you can do is to invoke your rights. That's the best thing you can do. So let's say you do invoke your rights. You may sit in there for a little while, and then they'll release you. They release you to your first sergeant. You go back to your unit. And what happens when you get back to your unit? On the Army, they flag you. You're flagged. You can't get promoted, you can't get bonuses, nothing. Do the same thing in the Air Force, do the same thing in the Navy. Call them different things, administrative holds or what have you. Terminology is different across the services, but they put some sort of administrative hold on you such that you can't VCS out of your unit, re-enlist, or get a bonus, period. You're under investigation. And you don't know how long you're going to be under investigation, and in some cases you don't know what you're being investigated for. So you did the smart thing and you invoked, or maybe you didn't do the smart thing and you made a statement. Either way, you're going to want to go meet with an attorney, right? So you go, if you're in the Army, you go and you seek trial defense services. If you're in the Air Force, you go and you seek your Area Defense Counsel. And you walk into that office, and in the Army, you're going to speak with a paralegal first. And if you're not charged with a crime, then you're not going to meet with an attorney. And the reason why is because they're too busy to meet with you. They have too many things on their plate. They have a number of court-martials on their plate already, number one. Number two, they have separation actions that they have to do. Number three, they have judicial punishment, non-judicial punishment clients that they have to meet with, folks that are getting Article 15s. They're not going to meet with you unless they have a charge sheet, period. And now you're getting really frustrated. You've spent all this time in the military. You've sacrificed life and limb for your country. You don't know what you're being investigated for. And maybe you do know what you're being investigated for, and you think you're wrongfully accused, and now the attorney won't meet with you. How does that make you feel? So what should you do? Well, you should pick up the phone, and you should call someone like myself. Because I'll meet with you. I'll meet with you over the phone, on Skype, whatever. And we'll talk about your case and how to move forward. That's what we'll do. Because that's what you deserve. You deserve to have the best defense possible. You deserve for someone to sit down and talk to you about your case. You deserve to have someone ask you the critical questions about your involvement in whatever it is you're being accused of. That's what you deserve. Because you stood on the line. You stood on the wall. You went overseas and you fought for your country. So if you find that this video has been helpful, if you find yourself in a situation like this, pick up the phone and call me at 254-554-1860 or email me at joseph@jordan.ucmjlaw.com.